Guys, sometimes in life, we make decisions thinking they'll lead us to a better future. We believe it's the right move, that everything will finally change for the better. But sometimes, that change comes with a price, something darker than we could ever imagine. What I'm about to share with you today is deeply personal, and honestly, it's not something we joke about, not anymore. Usually, when we talk about ghosts or spirits, we crack jokes, try to lighten the mood, but not when it comes to this entity. When this one's name comes up, everyone here sits up straight. No one jokes. No one moves around. Because this entity is not only terrifying, it's dangerous. And yes, I faced it myself. This story is about Chris and Melissa, a married couple who recently moved to a small town near New Orleans. What happened to them didn't just shake their lives, it destroyed their entire sense of reality. But now, it's your turn to hear it. If you enjoy horror, mystery, and stories with a touch of history, make sure to subscribe. Now let's begin. Chris, his wife Melissa, and his parents had lived in Los Angeles for years. Chris was doing well in the clothing business. They were comfortable, successful. But then, a fire broke out in his downtown factory. Everything he'd worked for was reduced to ashes. His business crumbled. With no money to restart, he took out loans. People trusted him, so they helped. But the next investment also failed. Eventually, the creditors came knocking. Out of options, Chris sold everything and moved back to his childhood town, a quiet place near New Orleans, hoping to start over with what little he had left. He called a local realtor and said, "I need a house immediately. Nothing fancy, just something where my family can survive." The realtor hesitated, then said, "There's a house that just became available, but it's not ideal for a family of 4. Chris replied, "If we can sleep there, that's all I care about." When they moved in, the house looked abandoned. The paint was peeling, the walls stained, the air musty like something had been locked in for years. But Chris had no other choice. The landlord was strange too. No lease, no deposit, not even a discussion. He just handed over the keys and left. Soon after moving in, Melissa began noticing strange things. "Chris," she said one evening, "every time I open our door, our neighbors shut theirs. People avoid us like we carry some disease. When I go outside, they turn and walk away." She also mentioned the kitchen curtain, saying, "It always feels like someone is watching me through it, and laughing, not playfully but cruelly, like they enjoy our misery." Chris shrugged it off. "It's probably just nerves. We're going through a tough time." But Melissa knew better. She knew fear when she felt it. Then late one night, she woke up. Chris wasn't beside her. She looked toward the kitchen and saw his shadow behind the curtain. He was talking to someone. But when she pulled it aside, he was alone. She asked, "Who were you talking to?" Chris just smiled and went back to bed. The next night, it happened again and again. Every night, she'd wake up to see him standing by the kitchen, whispering to no one. Chris began looking weaker each day. His skin turned pale, his eyes sunken. But he insisted he felt great. "Better than ever," he said with a strange smile. Worried, Melissa tied a thread from her wrist to his one night, thinking it would wake her if he tried to leave again. It did. She grabbed his hand and said, "You're not going anywhere tonight." Chris resisted. "I have to go." "No, you don't," she screamed. His parents woke up, alarmed. Melissa explained everything. For the first time, Chris stayed in bed. But then, the silence hit. The kind that's too quiet, too unnatural. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the house. They all froze. Melissa looked toward the kitchen. Chris was still beside her. So who was in there? She turned slowly and saw her. A woman, barely human, with a twisted face and rotten skin, standing behind the curtain. She wailed, "Chris, why didn't you come tonight? I told you I love you. You're mine." Everyone saw her. Everyone heard her. They fled the house that night, leaving everything behind. The next day, Chris's father took him to a spiritual guide at a nearby church. The pastor looked at Chris and said, "He's not alone. A spirit is bound to him, a female entity, and she's in love. Spirits love. They attach. But when they don't want to let go, it's death that follows," he warned. A neighbor later admitted, "We avoid your house because we know. That woman, that thing, she doesn't like happiness. She wilts flowers by looking at them. She drains the life out of people. The last man who lived there, he took his own life, the day before you moved in." Melissa made a choice that day. If that spirit won't let go of him, then I won't let go either. I'll fight her. I'll stand by him, even if it kills me. But thankfully, it didn't. With help from the pastor, endless prayers, and a spiritual cleansing that lasted 3 days straight, Chris slowly recovered. They moved out of that house and settled in another town. Melissa never left his side. His health improved. The darkness lifted. And today, they're alive and well. But here's what I want to leave you with. Spirits are real. Jinns, entities, ghosts, whatever name you give them, they exist. Some are harmless, but others, they fall in love. They get jealous. And when you step into their world, they don't always let you leave. If you ever move into a new place and something doesn't feel right, trust your instincts. Your life might depend on it. Thank you.